Hello everyone. From the first space probes to fly by Mars in the 60s to the planetary orbiters and rovers of today, the United States, Russia, Europe, Japan, and India have developed Mars exploration programs to fulfill their human aspirations. These 5 entities have recently been joined by China and the United Arab Emirates, who successfully launched missions to Mars recently, as well as NASA. Today, I'd like to give you a quick update on the 3 missions that successfully reached Mars recently. Welcome to Reaching for the Moon, hosted by me, Ed Grace. For those of you that don't know me, I worked on the Apollo program for 10 years and was a member of the Apollo 13 Mission Operations Team awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. All 3 missions, United Arab Emirates Hope Probe, China's Tianwen-1 and NASA's Perseverance Rover successfully achieved orbit around Mars in February of 2021. The United Arab Emirates Hope Probe objectives are to study the Martian atmosphere and climate by, number 1, analyzing the lower Martian atmosphere to understand the climate dynamics. Number 2, analyzing the upper Martian atmosphere to understand the weather changes and the escape of hydrogen and oxygen. And 3, identifying why Mars is losing hydrogen and oxygen into space. The Hope Probe has been orbiting Mars for 2 months now, and all instruments and equipment are working per design. China's Tianwen-1 spacecraft is scheduled to deploy a descent module to attempt the country's first landing on the Red Planet in mid-May. Chinese officials have not announced the exact date for the attempted Mars landing yet. Tianwen-1's lander and rover will target landing in a broad plain in the northern hemisphere of Mars called Utopia Planitia. The Tianwen-1 Orbiter, which will continue its mission in orbit after releasing the lander and the rover, has a design goal to operate for 1 Martian year, or about 2 years on Earth. The solar-powered rover, fitted with 6 wheels for mobility, which is similar to NASA's Perseverance rover, has a design goal life expectancy of 90 days, according to China's press release on the Tianwen-1. China's stated objectives for the Tianwen-1 mission are, number 1, to map the morphology and geological structure. 2, to investigate the surface soil characteristics and water ice distribution. 3, to analyze the surface material composition. 4, to measure the ionosphere and the characteristics of the Martian climate and environment at the surface. 5, to perceive the physical fields and internal structure of Mars. Chinese officials stated that it's their plan to share the Mars rover scientific data with researchers all around the world. Since arriving at Mars, the Tianwen-1 spacecraft has maneuvered into an orbit closer to Mars prior to deploying the lander rover. Based upon Chinese press releases and Tianwen-1 tracking data, all appears favorable for the May deployment of the lander rover. Lastly, NASA's Perseverance rover successfully touched down on Mars in February and has been operating properly since. Perseverance deployed its Ingenuity helicopter, which has already made 3 successful flights. 5 in total are planned. For Flight 4, which was recently scheduled, the helicopter did not transition to flight mode, which is required for the flight to take place, and Flight 4 was postponed. JPL has attributed the cause for the failed Flight 4 was the same watchdog timer issue encountered on its initial flight attempt. Flight 4 has been rescheduled. A last-minute update on Ingenuity. Ingenuity completed flight number 4 successfully. It reached an altitude of 16 feet and stayed aloft for about 50 seconds. Due to the success, JPL had originally only had Ingenuity going to do 5 flights, but because of this success, they're now going to increase the number of flights that Ingenuity is going to do on Mars. It has not been determined how many. They will just add each flight one by one as they go forward. Good news for Ingenuity. Once the 5 Ingenuity test flights are completed, Perseverance will move on to completing its mission objectives, which are explore a geologically diverse landing site, assess ancient habitability, seek signs of ancient life, particularly in special rocks known to preserve signs of life over time, gather rock and soil samples that can be returned to Earth by a future NASA mission, and demonstrate technology for future robotic and human exploration. The Perseverance Mars mission has been successful so far, and JPL is excited to move on to achieving Perseverance's objectives. Well, with that update, I'm going to end today's video. I hope you enjoyed the Mars 2021 update. If you did enjoy the video, give us a like. We're going to continue to track what's going on with Ingenuity. Hit the subscribe and notification buttons to be notified every time Reaching for the Moon posts a new video. Thank you for watching. Remember always, failure is not an option. Bye.